Let me get this on my Twitter. And I'm on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Browns Fanatical Elfz Postgame Show. There's Lou Marconi, and I'm John Suchan.
Yep.
We are here to discuss the dreadful, miserable game, Mercy Rule. Browns lose 35-10. Thanks for joining us, part of the Fanatical Elfz Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. Lou just wrote his story about the game already. Lou, how you feeling tonight?
I'm fine. That was what I kind of was expecting, not for us not to win. And I will say this, tomorrow I will be a Tennessee Titans and a New England Patriots fan. Yes. I want the number one pick. That way we could trade back. That's why. It's a valuable commodity somebody will overpay for.
You think they'll trade back even if so we're secured at least the top three picks.
Right.
We're at, worst we can do is 3.
Right.
So if you had that on your bingo card going in to this season, nobody did.
Nobody did. And I think everybody's kind of in shock. We talked about that ESPN article in the pregame show, and I think everybody is pretty much in shock in the organization that this happened.
See, now, do you see this season as like, I see all these people saying how this is the most disappointing season.
No.
And I'm like, no, I don't see this as the most. I mean, I know the expectations were super high, but when they were, people are always referring this team to the 2016 and 2017 teams. And I'm like, it's a different thing. I don't know.
We already won the 2016, 2017. We tripled the victories of those two years already.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we did win on the road, and we won, we beat the Steelers and the Ravens. So
yeah.
I don't think it's as bad. I don't think
when you want to talk about disappointment, like go back in time, Lou. You and I mean, I know we're talking about aging.
We're old guys. We're old.
But they've been showing the rebroadcasts and even the radio announcers from the January 4th game in 1981, that 80 season, when the Browns and even the radio guys, Herb Stram talked about how here we are, and I know. Don Cockroft was 2 for 4 and missed a PAT that game, but they couldn't believe that the Browns didn't just try to kick the field goal and win it back then. But that was a huge disappointment. I was 12. You were a little kid. That was disappointment.
I was 7. Yeah, I was 7 when that happened. You were 12. So I remember watching it and being disappointed. My dad, I was disappointed for my dad because my dad was really disappointed. He was a Browns fan. We deal with that. But the thing is, every sports fan that is of a team has disappointment. It's a part of life. You deal with it. I got to say this, guys. Yeah, this sucks. It totally sucks. I understand.
And I don't like the fact that a lot of people too, they like to say how when we watch the Browns, it's like not watching any other teams in the NFL. And I'm like, it's because you're too tied into this team that you can't sit back and just, I know that the Browns are having a sucky year, but this is not like they are an NFL football team. They are running NFL plays. They don't look, yes, they're making mistakes, but they're not that bad. And you and I talked about this with Steve earlier today on the pregame show, that these games in the NFL come down to 1 or 2 or 3 plays that are critical. And in this game, Lou, Bailey Zappi threw an interception at the very beginning of the game that was critical, considering that the Browns really hung in there. And no one could believe that they were only down 14-3 at halftime because the Browns defense came to play.
It should have only been down 7-3. And that one other pick, we were driving. We were ready to score that game, at that instant. So there was a lot that went wrong. Now, what that Derrick Henry touchdown, well, a lot of times too, we put the defense in bad positions when they were left on with short fields and on the other. And this is a very, very good Baltimore offense. a very
Yeah.
good running offense. You're talking Derrick Henry. That's Derrick Henry. That's not some Joe Blow back there.
No.
I mean, guys, the guy's a Pro Bowl running back, and he's going to future Hall of Famer. So don't sit there and act like we played like some Pee Wee football team today. We didn't.
No.
They're and the AFC North's a very tough division. The NFL is a tough place to win games. So it's disappointing, but guess what? It's over.
Yay!
It's over. We could talk about the draft. We could talk about free agents. We're getting a lot of likes. I've got the Bengals and Steelers game here. It's in the second quarter now, and the Steelers are down 10-0.
And if you have a comment too, we are live here on the X on YouTube.
Comment all you want. Yeah, it's 30.
Please,
we could have lost 35-34. We could have lost 50-0. I mean, it's a loss is a loss.
Well, I did think that they were going to cover the spread, and they did blow that late.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Bailey Zappi, he looked, he's wearing Johnny Manziel's old number 2 number. Tim Couch.
I saw
2.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, some people were critical of his passing and stuff. But the guys come in late. I mean, it's not what it used to be. Jerry Jeudy did set a records, most catches now as a Cleveland Brown all time ever.
In one season?
Yes, 90 receptions now.
So he broke Ozzy's record.
He did, and of course he did
all
of that like in the last couple minutes. But
Myles Garrett with 14.5 sacks for the year, and he had first offensive play. He tackled Derrick Henry for a tackle for a loss. These guys showed up to play. Myles Garrett was out there playing hard. I mean, it doesn't look like a guy that doesn't want to be here, in my opinion. So yeah, the Steelers are driving right now. They just got a pass interference penalty, and then they had a guy run for a first. Najee Harris run for a first down.
Bailey Zappi, he did the first couple series, and then they put DTR in, which was bizarre, and then they kept him out. But
did you listen to the press conference?
No.
Yeah, because they asked Stefanski about that. He said, "Yeah, I brought him in. We had certain plays. We're just kind of feeling out to see how the game was going. DTR sucked. I mean,
he's so bad.
And that's why there's like just go, just because there was a wide open Elijah Moore, and he just completely missed him.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like once something like that happens, it gets into his head, and it just snowballs at that point.
Yeah, totally. No, I've really felt like the first half. I thought the team was playing decently, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But again, the season is over. The team is,
so it is what it is at this point. Yeah. I mean, I kind of said, but my article previewing this game, well, we might as well. I mean, it's like you got this far, and winning a game that's completely meaningless on week 18, and dropping 4 or 5 spots when you could be, the top 3, guaranteed top 3 now. So I'm wondering what games are on television tomorrow in my viewing market.
Right. No, it's
they'll have the Titans and the Patriots. I don't have Sunday Ticket or Red Zone or a channel or anything like that. So, but I'll be out and about doing my thing.
Well, it's very it's tough. I mean, is where we're at, and I'm like you, like everybody. It is really stunning how horribly bad everything went this season.
We talked about like how in 2023 everything went right, and in 2024 everything went wrong.
Yep.
And that's what it seemed like. I talked about it with you and who are we on? Jack.
Noah.
No, not Noah. Not Noah. Steve.
Yep.
Steve this morning. Yeah. This afternoon, I should say, earlier today.
Where do you when you're thinking about the future? Well, let's pause for a quick commercial break, Lou. We're not going to keep people that long.
And I'll answer that question.
Yep,
I'll answer that question after this.
We'll be right back. And thank you for coming back to us here on the postgame show. Lou, what the future of the Brownies now? We're 3-14. How dramatically or drastically should we be looking at this? And are there going to be a lot of wholesale changes? Players, will there, we haven't really dove into that. We'll do more of that here on our network. But
yeah. Let me start with the quarterback room. I think it's going to be totally new protocol. I think completely new quarterback room at this point.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised
if they all go.
Yep.
I mean,
And
Watson would be coming back, but he'll be on the IR and the pup. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised with that. I wouldn't be surprised to see, but especially if Batonio retires, a more revamped offensive line.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping they could add some more playmakers too. But there's a lot to be done here, but it can be fixed. And I would think I actually was thinking instead of Kirk Cousins, I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett back.
You want Jacoby back?
I want Jacoby back instead of Kirk because Kirk played horrible.
Now Jacoby, they went 4-7 or 4-7 with him in that time that he was here that year before Watson took the field. Are you watching the game?
Yeah, it looks like the guy drew a flag. The guy drew a flag. I'm listening.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, of course, the guy drew a flag. It was an acting job by a Steelers player to get a flag in the end zone.
What was the record that the Baltimore coach was going after? There's some record that the team was going after at one of our colleagues for Fans First. I think Brian mentioned on social media that the Ratbirds didn't take out their starters until the very end because there was some record that they were trying to get. Do you know what he was referring to? I question that.
No. I think they were trying to win the division.
Well, right, but there was some record though that Brian referenced, and he didn't. I'm waiting for a comment back from him to see what the. I'll see.
Yeah. Was it something to do with Lamar Jackson?
That, or maybe the offense, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, and people were like, I was listening to another person do a live chat during the game.
Yeah.
And people were like, well, do you still believe Baker Mayfield has more upside than Lamar Jackson? He goes, why are you even asking me that? That is the dumbest thing from a draft 6 years ago when,
right.
When people took Josh Rosen in the top 5. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm glad we didn't take him. That guy scared me off. Like I didn't care for him. I don't care for Cam Ward because I asked Noah last night about this with Cam Ward because he
I heard you talking about this initially. But
I went, well, what do you think about that? Well, I want him. And I'm like, well, he basically said he made a business decision not playing the second half.
Right.
That doesn't bother you?
Yeah, and the way that it's interesting because there's been different takes, especially by the younger audience, talking about this. And one of the comments was, well, at least he decided he wanted to play in the first half, or several of his teammates were planning to not play that game. So other veteran players were planning on boycotting that game altogether if Cam Ward didn't play. So they were trying to spin it to sound like because he played, then his teammates played with him, which
and he should have played the whole game. If he's not hurt, play. If you're there,
and
play.
I didn't realize that he was over at Washington State before this last year. Did you? I forgot about that. He was at Washington State for 2 years as quarterback out there. And I looked at his stats, and nothing spectacular when he was at Washington State. But these kids move around so much now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to keep up. It is.
Go
ahead.
What was? Oh, I had okay. Well, Myles Garrett quote here. I don't know if you saw his press conference after the game, but he just said here the standard about his disappointment on the season. Myles said the standard has been set for the year before. The hopes and expectations were hinging on that. We had really developed something, and we took a step or two backwards.
I would say that's an accurate statement. And I heard too, I guess it was reported that he did meet with the front office this week about the plan. So
by the way, the Haslams now in 13 seasons, the Browns have finished eight times. They finished last.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
it's just not gonna. No. I'm just. Yeah, and how long did the Rooneys own the team before Chuck turned it? Yeah. So
Michael Hall?
Yeah. I didn't get a report on that. Stefanski said they're waiting on the MRI.
Yeah.
But it didn't look good. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
Our old colleague Joel Cade was mentioning, and I have to go back and watch the replay on it, but basically he's suggesting that Michael Hall got hurt because one of the Ravens was throwing some other player that around, and that Michael's leg got caught in it, but it was not called against the Ratbirds, and they anyway, I don't know. I have to go back and look at that replay, but he's trying to suggest that there was something on that play.
Something he was blocked and like somebody got underneath him, and it's football. It's a rough game, and it's a shame that happened at the end of the season because he looks very promising.
He did. For the first time, I know that everyone else has been talking about him, but I was watching him a little bit more closely in this game, and he did look stronger.
Oh yeah, he was pressuring him. Yeah. There was a lot. The defensive line, I think, plays good. If you add a guy like a Abdul Carter,
yeah,
wow.
So there's some other players that we saw today, like this Michael Ford, and Martin Emerson drives me nuts. Martin Emerson
was out. Martin Emerson was out for most of the game.
Well, in this moment, he's number 23, right? There was some.
Yeah, there was. But yeah, you've criticized him quite a bit.
This year, I know. I just think. Yeah. Well, part of it, the reason
he wasn't at the end. He wasn't in at the end for the defensive.
Yeah, collapse. But these players, what they do is all these players are taught. I know they're coached this to try to tear the ball out, but they're not. They're trying to tear the ball out, but they forget how to tackle. And sometimes it just is embarrassing. I mean, these guys. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the team's gonna takes a step back. So especially when it comes to fundamentals of like just tackling and I don't know, Derrick Henry had 8 yards in the first half, and we bottled them up. And we have done our defense when their mind is set on it. We can stop Derrick Henry. We have in the past. He's never been and they were trying to talk him up. And then of course the second half he goes nuts against us. He goes for over 100 yards. One of the first, first time that he's ever done that actually in his career against the Browns, I believe. Someone was looking at that stat. So
one of the he had that big run that did it, and it was sometimes that happens when you keep pounding away. And it's like a Nick Chubb type of thing. Nick Chubb gets a lot of his yardage in the second half of the third.
Well, that's a good point.
Second half, yeah. The defenses wear down. That's all it was. It was a wear down, and we were on the field a lot. We were on the field in bad situations.
They ran about 12 or 13 more plays than we did. We threw the ball about 35 times between Zappy and DTR. We ran the ball only about 16 times. Had some running back that I've never heard of before that we got off a practice squad from Tennessee. Last name.
Yeah, we got third and fourth string running backs out there.
Kabaddi.
We've got a fourth string quarterback. Congratulations, Baltimore.
Right.
I mean, it's like, thank you. I mean, they were showing the injuries again, like last year and this year's injuries.
Yeah. So Jerry Jeudy caught 6 passes for 63 yards. He was targeted 13 times, caught 6 passes.
That was a lot. That was in the second half.
He dropped a couple though, man. Lou.
Yeah, there was one that went right into his snap. Yeah, disappointing. Yeah. But you know what? He had a hell of a season, and he was a great pickup. And I'm hopefully. Hopefully we can add to that receiver room. I hope Cedric Tillman's okay too. I hope we got a lot of good young players that I hope are recovered from things.
Well, Lou and I will be back on Monday night. We're going to continue to stir the pot. There'll be a lot more to talk about.
We'll talk which draft pick we have because it's going to be based on what New England. Because I'm guessing Buffalo and Houston are resting their starters.
And we'll probably know a little bit more about the coaching staff and players and some of those things that happen Monday, probably early.
The Black Monday, Plus, do you where do you see coaches being ufired in other cities? I think Jacksonville would probably be one.
Yeah.
Dallas. Usually there's 6 a year on average. So you already have 4. You got the Jets. You got the Panthers, you got the Bears, and you have the Saints. So we're expecting Jacksonville and Dallas. So I wonder anywhere else.
That's 6 right there.
Yeah. We know we're not doing. And I know the
Jets.
Do we
know, Lou? Are we positively positive that nothing's happening to Kevin Stefanski or? Andy
I haven't heard anything else. Until it's reported. I mean, he did. Plus, I watched this press conference. He didn't look like a guy that was about
follow Albert Breer. The sports guy, he has some interesting takes. I don't think he likes Cleveland very much, and he
nobody does.
No,
nobody does unless you're from here. Nobody does. It's just
I have to read this, Lou. This is funny. One of my old colleagues that I talked to that live out in Kansas. Before we leave, everybody, they were talking about they know that I'm a big Browns fan, and this young man or this guy I used to work with has a couple younger kids who are a little toddlers. They're watching the game today, and the little toddler says, why do they call the Browns? Why don't they call the Browns the Orangies? Because they're wearing orange uniforms. And so my friend, he commented back. He says, good question. The team doesn't ever seem to make much sense. Now, this is coming from a Kansas City Chiefs fan, but I thought it was cute. That,
it was named after Paul. I tell people it's named after Paul Brown, the founder of the team.
Right. So we'll leave everybody with that. But the Browns go down to defeat 35-10. Lou, any final thoughts before we say goodnight?
No. I would expect changes on the offensive staff, and I would expect a lot of really good things. Looks like Pittsburgh turned it over on downs. I mean, not Pittsburgh, Cincinnati turned it over on downs to the Steelers.
What's the score now?
It's 10-7.
10-7. Okay.
6:33 left. Yeah, it looks like that's what they just did. Yeah, let me see what happened here. Oh, Cam Hayward batted the ball. Yeah, it was pretty. Yep. So cool. Yeah, Steelers are playing a tough game. Hey guys, it's over. We'll see what they do. Let's see what kind of moves they make, and I would expect a whole new quarterback room of competence this year.
So Lou and I will be on Monday night, probably around 9 or 9:15 Monday night again.
9:15. Yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah, we'll do 9:15. So I really appreciate everybody tuning into us. Lou's going to come out with his article. Should be coming out first thing either later tonight or tomorrow on the game. So
I know Jeff's probably watching the Steelers game, but
that's true.
Let's see if I got a response from him on this. This Slack thing, I don't have the actual app for Slack, but I use the Safari.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on. No response yet. So
okay,
he'll get to it.
Well,
don't worry.
Browns fans, thank you for tuning into us.
Hey, thanks for being with us all year.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us all
season.
Thank
you, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. You can still go buy their coffee. It's on our link on the X page.
Yeah, click on the link, guys, and we'll be back. We'll be back.
Take care, everybody. Go Browns.
Go Browns. We'll be back.